Hey guys, so this is the clay maker. It's used to wet process clay without a lot of mess. Um, Normally, when you wet process clay, you'll get some wild clay. You'll put it into a bucket. You'll add water and mix it up into a slurry, and then they'll pour it into a pillowcase and let it drain out. Well, I don't really care for the pillowcase too much. It's just a little bit too messy for me. So I came up with this where instead of pouring it into the pillowcase, you pour it into this top bucket. And in the top bucket, there's a drain tube that goes down the center of the bucket and through the bottom of the bucket. And in that drain tube are a bunch of holes, just 1/8 inch drilled holes. And then there's a filter that fits over that tube to, keep the clay in, but it'll let the water out. Underneath, I've got a lower drain that is actually connected to the upper drain. They pass through the bucket basically. And the lower drain, that's basically just a drain. It's an outlet for the water. And it's connected to this drain hose that I've got up right now. When I do have a load of slurry in here right now. I poured it this morning. Once it stops settling, I will take this hose and I'll drop it down into the lower bucket. Gravity takes over, all the water drains out. It takes a few days for it all to drain out, because there's a lot of water in the clay and everything, but at least you don't have a mess. When I'm all done with this, all I gotta do is take the bottom bucket, dump the water outside, or reuse it for the next load, and away I go. So, but for right now, um, okay, you guys, I'm back again. I put the slurry in there. It has settled. I'm a little concerned about that too because it had pretty much settled down to this point after about 4 hours. And I was led to believe that clay would stay suspended in water a little bit longer than that. So I'm not really sure what I do have in here, but I'm going to continue on. 30 hours ago, the level was right there, and it's still there now, so it's not going to settle anymore. But anyway, it's very simple now. Take the drain. Drop it in there. I'll start the clock from now. I just got off work. It's 3 o'clock, January 8th. We'll see how long it takes for this to actually dry out. And I'll see you next time. Well, okay, so you can see it's a little jiggly yet. Thought it'd be a lot drier than that by now. It's been exactly 7 days since I put it into the clay maker. It kind of holds its shape, but I'm gonna let it wait till tomorrow or maybe the next day before I go kneading it. No sense making too much of a mess. Yeah, I'll see you then. You know, it's funny. The whole purpose of making this clay maker was to find out exactly what I had in my clay. Turns out you could actually get onto a USDA website. It's you can type in your address and you could specify a depth. I specified 12 inches below the surface to 48 inches below the surface. And it'll basically tell you exactly what your soil is composed of. Primarily how much clay you have in there, how much silt you have in there, how much sand you have in there, and how much organic matter you have in there. It's kind of looking like I have way too much silt in my soil to actually be useful for making pottery. The problem with mine right here, what I've done is there's just too much silt in it, I think. I've got all the sand out. I mean, that didn't take much. But I'm going to have to figure out a way to filter the silt out of it to make it a little bit more usable. I don't even think it'd be useful for making bricks. Although I will take this clay that I've got right here that I have processed, and I will run it through the motions. I'll make bricks out of it and I'll fire them. But yeah, I think this video is done. My next video more than likely will be
filtering it. Again, just laying a filter out and pouring your solution up through it, you know, the slurry through it, is kind of, it doesn't really work all that well. You know, as soon as your filter clogs up, you got to stop. I think I have a pretty good idea on how not to have to really worry about that. But that'll be the next video. And I will post some videos about how I actually made the clay maker if anybody's interested. So, yeah, this video's done. I'll see you probably in a couple of weeks when I have something else.